Hi everybody, we got company today. Yes, but I'll tell you later. Today we are going to, do you remember the orchid I had in the white sewer pot that fell and broke, the leaves broke, the flower broke, and I put it in the purple traffic cone. The two flowers that were in here are the blue ones. They're now in that one. And Jack took the white traffic cone, and you can see it's the white traffic cone that had the glass shield under it that broke, and he used a stand that he cuts off the traffic cones when he makes the top of that for the traffic cone so the flowers fit. And this, the bottom of this sewer pot, is he epoxied the sewer pot to the stand. We don't throw away anything, we keep things, and they always turn up useful. And then I just went crazy with painting it, so I did a cute fun little paint job with acrylic paint, and then I used liquid Varathane over it, and it's all ready to put the orchids in. So I'm gonna, whoops, I'm gonna get him to come in. Yeah, here he is. Okay, can you explain, he is going to explain how he epoxied these so that they're so strong. He uses this good stuff, and I'm going to get out of the way.
Okay, first of all, the bottom of this is the bottom of a traffic cone that was chopped off for the traffic cones that she uses. And then I cut them into 4 sections, and I just put a pin in between them to hold them in place because I had to size it, right? I mean, the size of it was huge, so I chopped it, quartered it, and brought it together. Now, I could have been really clever, I guess, and shaved it and made it so that it all fit nice and tight, but I'm not that fussy about that, and besides, those pins will be good. At any rate, what you end up with is you end up with gaps and stuff here because I wasn't too fussy about making a perfect fit. But that's okay. I have this epoxy that is the best stuff I ever found for epoxy. This one, PC7, it's a 2-stage thing. It's A and B. You just use equal amounts of both. But PC7 is black when you're done, and PC11 is white. So whichever you want to use, you use equal amounts. You mix it up. You're going to need tools like maybe a knife or an old screwdriver or a scraper or whatever. But the nice thing about it is, and always wear gloves. The nice thing about it is that it's alcohol soluble, which means that this epoxy, unlike other epoxies I've used, I can take and I can mold it and stuff, and it doesn't sag and like other epoxies do. So it's very formable. You can do stuff with it. And so it's nice to do a job like this because you can just bring it in there. So what you do is you use alcohol. Around the house you probably got rubbing alcohol, what have you. And then you just dip your finger in there because you got gloves on, of course. And then you can just rub around and smooth it off and make it all really nice. But you can do all kinds of things. Now, I've not really got creative with it, but I could. But what I've done is, like, when I do different things, you always have a little bit left because you make too much. And so then I thought, well, I took the white and I made this here little thing just really quick, simple, and just let it harden. And then I had some black left over one time, and I did the same thing. And then I put the two together. So I got this here.
Want me to do a close-up?
So I got this here thing. Well, it's not important. It's just 2 shades of epoxy, but that's the black and the white.
It looks like
at any rate, and it's very hard. It's very hard and light. So that's what you do. And the alcohol I use is methyl hydrate. This is actually a good way to buy alcohol because it's cheaper. You can buy a gallon jug of this stuff. And they tell you on here like it's not a fuel. Well, that's a lie. If you buy you know, de-icers and stuff for your fuel or things like that, because in the wintertime especially we get condensation, and then your gasoline for your vehicle gets water in it. And then if you put methyl hydrate in there, then you know, like a cup of it or whatever in your tank, and then it helps dissipate that water. And so that's what it's used for. It's also used for de-icing big rigs and stuff like that, or if you had an icing problem on your windshield, you could always dump some on there. You know, it's good for a lot of things. But it's the only alcohol I use around the shop or around the house, because it's good and it's inexpensive and it works. Okay, so always wear gloves. What did I miss? So you can just, this is just an idea of what you can do. You can smooth it out and you can do all kinds of things with it. I've done all kinds of things with it, but I haven't really been creative or anything other than...
patch lawn ornaments and...
Well, you can do all kinds of stuff with it. It's really good. It's really good stuff. It gives you lots of time to work with it and everything else, and it does cure very hard. So at any rate, that's what was done there. This is very solid. This will last a zillion years. And
oh yeah, and you tilted it so that...
Yeah, well, I cut this this was kind of an odd shape like this. And so one side was straight up and the other side was at an angle. But since I had to take the bottom off anyway, I figured, well, why don't I cut it and give them both sides an angle? And so that's what's happened here. Both sides got an angle. At any rate, so that's about it for that. Thank you. I'll give you back to Carolyn.
Okay, so I had to decide what I was going to put in this pot, and I decided that I've had the 2 orchids. Now these 2 orchids, they were the 2 I thought were dead about a year ago today. About a year ago, and I just couldn't throw them in the garbage. I didn't feel good about that. So I just took them out to it was early spring, and I took them out to the greenhouse, and I put them on the second shelf down under, and so they were near the pond in the greenhouse, and I pretty well ignored them. Now there's high humidity in there because we have a pond, and sometimes I'd water, sometimes I wouldn't. I didn't remember them. They went on, and then we had the big heat dome and all the heat for summer, and I forgot about them. It was 140 degrees. It was so hot out in the greenhouse, all the leaves fell off the lemon tree, and all the leaves fell off the lemon tree, and that's how hot it was. It was 140, and half the time I never remembered them, but I had thought they were dead. And sometime during the summer I went out there, and because I was worried about the lemon tree, and which all the leaves have grew back now, and I seen that they were trying to live. So way about fall, I brought them into the solarium outside. Now I brought all the other orchids in at that time because it was so smoky. We had smoke for 2 months here from all the forest fires, and they survived all that, and I didn't bring them in till late fall, and they both had 1 flower. So they're my little miracle orchids, and sometimes I wonder if these ones just, this color, I didn't realize both of them were similar colors, but seeing they are, and seeing they struggled so hard to survive, I'm going to put them in this pot. I think they deserve it. And watering day was Wednesday, so I think I'm not watering them. I will water them Wednesday like I usually do. So let's have a look and see how they look inside. Now I'm just going to unclamp the flower. Okay, there we go. Whoops, it's caught in there. Okay, let's dump this one out, and I kind of like to grab hold Maybe I'll just bring you in a little bit closer. See how that works. Get a bird's eye view of this. This is noisy, so I'm gonna, there we go. That should work. Okay. I'm going to just dump these out, and I'm gonna hold the plant, and I'm just gonna dump it. So I have no idea what this looks like, how it's done. It was in such bad shape. And I think if we look way inside here, we have some roots kind of, boy, it has been trying. Now the leaf fell off, and I will go back and show you in a minute. I'm going to take the other part where this was attached off, because they always start to dry and leave little spaces for moisture to get. I hate bothering roots. Let me put some water in this for a minute. Wasn't going to, but okay. Let's see if I can kind of loosen them very gently. Got one. Whoop. Oh, it's on the bottom of the pot too. Holy smoke. It went, do you know, I think they're healthier when they can cling. And this one, oh, I got it. Yay, yay, yay. Okay, let's see what we got. I think we're stuck a little bit on this side too. Well, the roots grew. I mean, this is amazing. When I put these out there, they were as good as dead. But oh, that one I broke. Sorry, plant. Ooh. Okay, now I'm going to use the same bark because these were only potted after I brought them in. So let's see close what we got. Look at this. This is new roots. So, you know, neglect seemed to be better than over love. Isn't that funny? These roots are all good. And, of course, I got some of the bark wet, but I'm going to leave them in the same bark. And one will go on one side. Oh, yeah, I have to show you this. You see where that leaf broke off? Now, normally, I like to split the leaf down the middle and take that off. Because as that dries, see if we can get in there, it leaves a little place where bugs can harbor and dampness can settle. So usually I split the leaf right down the middle and then pull down a bit and take that off. You see, you don't want to leave anywhere. And I learned this not that long ago. So there. You know, and if that's under, say you're watering more, then that even leaves more chance. So that's nice and clean now. So we're going to put some of the bark. I haven't got any new bark soaking because I knew this bark was pretty good. And they're going to share the same pot. So and then I'll just sift the bark down in there. Most important that center part, that's where the root goes down, that you get the bark in there. That's most important. If there's some air holes in the outside, it's not as bad. So we're gonna, if you have a plant that's suffering too and you're repotting it, and it does need new bark, it does not hurt to leave a little bit of that old bark in there. For any microorganisms, or someone that's a scientist knows, there's different things, fungi, good fungi. So we got one in. Now, as you can see, I'm going to show you, this is where the other one's going to go. So they're going to share the same pot, but not all the way down. So Now we want to have a look at this one. So, whoop, there's a little salamander. When they're sad sometimes and they're not rooted, I will weight them down with anything I have to make them feel more secure. So, oh, this one's coming loose. So, let's have a look at this. Oh, they've done so good since all that. Look at all the new roots on this one. You know, next year we should get lots of flowers. And I don't know how I almost killed it, but the real temptation, oh, here's a little spot that has to come off right here. It's dry, but it's, the temptation is you look at the bark on the top and you look at your plant and you think, oh no, it's, there's a little piece right here. This is an old one. And I don't know if you can see it, but I'm going to take it off. There. Okay. And that piece, it has a place that was broke off, but look at that. It has some roots, so I'm leaving it, and you can see it's quite bent here, but it's still doing good. These are spots that have now dried out because I plant them high in the pot. So lots of new roots coming. And you know, this rotten piece right here, I heated up my scissors and I'm just going to take that off. I'm going to, right there and right there. This is very old, dry from the very beginning of the plant. Okay, now I'm quite happy with that. And we're going to put it in the other side. There. Wow, look at this. Down we go. That one really had a lot of roots. It's quite snug. But if they do good in another year or so, they can always be repotted. That one can stay out. Now, there we go. Let's put some bark down in there. I get my finger and I just wiggle it all into place. There's a lot of space in there that, yes, we want air, but we also want the plant to feel comfortable. So, and I usually give it a good shake. Now, right there. I'm leaving it high in the pot. Go. Yes, Jack, one of them was really tipped over, and it might have been part of the reason for the balance was off. Other than I put it in a pot, I shouldn't have. I think we're better off now without the glass attachment. Okay, now I'm going to show you how this is going to look. Then we have another discussion we got to have. Okay, so I think we are going to be okay. So I will probably water that down in a minute, but I might just give it a little good bang too. So I'm going to back us up because I want to share something else with you. So, about there, maybe. Okay. So, this is good. I have some bark left. Ooh. I'm not sure what all that is. Oh yeah, we're still on. Sorry, there's funny things on my camera, but we're hoping for the best. Okay, the other thing I want to show you, we'll just place that right there. They look so happy. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you was the big pot that I put 2 orchids in. They're quite healthy, the leaves are healthy, and the oldest one, this was my Mother's Day white orchid from last Mother's Day, and it is spiking. Now this was an older one I had, and it's very healthy, but I had it and it grew out over the furnace vent, and it blew 3 or 4 flowers. So what I did is I decided, because there was just 1 flower there, I decided to cut it off, which I did, and I put a little cinnamon. Now if it chooses in a month or so to give me some more flowers, it will still do it from here. I could have cut it a little higher, and so we'll just see how that works. If I don't usually do that, I let them rest, but because it really didn't flower, other than the white one, the one I saved, and it was my fault, and yes, they do not like that change, warm heat blasting on them, but it was so long, so I'm going to wait and see if I do, in a month or so, get a flower. So that is all for today. Thank you very much for coming and joining Jack and I, and we will see you next time with some more fun at our house. Bye for now.